What do eggs, butter and steak really do to your arteries? Morning team, kettle on, brain on. Today we're talking about cholesterol, again, because the story that you've been told for years is quite frankly upside down, and because, as Dr. Kate Shanahan points out in her book, Dark Calories, the real villain probably isn't even what you think it is. So credit where it's due to Dr. Kate for the research. I'm going to translate it into normal human and keep it practical so that you can actually use it. Cholesterol, the body's duct tape, courier service and crisis manager. So you know that clogged pipe image used to scare you about cholesterol? Imagine a plumber saying, pipes keep bursting, so let's just get rid of all the water. That is basically the simplistic logic behind this massive fear about cholesterol. And today I'm going to bin the pipe drama and talk about what's really going on in your body. In the next 20 minutes or so, I'm going to teach, in the next 20 minutes or so, you're going to learn what cholesterol actually is, why your cells beg for it daily, and why good and bad cholesterol is just a child's version of the story, and what really damages our arteries, how vegetable oils fit into this mess, what the big trials actually found, and what to put on your plate from today without losing your mind. And I'm filming today from not such a beautiful day, but it is a stunning view for you. Look, we're in Biarritz in France on the Atlantic coast. So I've got the surf behind me and these beautiful Art Deco buildings all along the front for some pretty views. Quick disclaimer. This is education, not personalised medical advice. So if you have a diagnosed condition or you're on medication, please keep your GP or your MD in the loop. And I'm not here to yoink your statins without concept. We're going to talk about mechanisms and risks and food choices so that you can have an intelligent chat with your doctor next time you see him or her. Part 1, the cholesterol myth in one sentence. So doctors and the public have heard that cholesterol causes heart attacks so many times that nobody even stops to ask if it's true. Repetition doesn't equal truth. If it did, my dog would be a nutritional scientist by now. And here's the pivot. Cholesterol isn't a toxin, it's a nutrient. Every cell in your body needs it and uses it. And when you eat in a way that removes seed oils and you bring back instead real food like eggs and butter, your blood cholesterol, it often goes up and people panic. But if cholesterol is a nutrient and a firefighter, not a flamethrower, then a rise can actually be a sign that your body is fixing things rather than breaking. I'm Emma Voysey. I'm a health coach who believes that real food always beats fad diets. I try to translate the science into plain English so you can stop guessing and stop repeating the old dogma and diet myths and instead start thriving again. Part 2, what cholesterol actually is. So think of cholesterol as the body's duct tape and building bricks. To the naked eye, it's a waxy, fat-like substance. At the microscopic level, it's a sturdy molecule and it slots into your cell membranes and it stops them doing two dramatic things. 1, turning rigid like a frozen pond, and 2, melting like a cheap candle. You need cholesterol too. Build and repair cell membranes. Remember the outsides of the cells so your cells don't fall apart. You need to divide cells in fast turnover issues like your gut lining and skin and bone marrow. And you need to make hormones like cortisol and the sex hormones that keep your mood even, keep your metabolism ticking along, your fertility and stress response in order. Build vitamin D and bile acids so you can absorb fats and fat-soluble vitamins properly, and create these lipid rafts that allow your cells to receive signals and move the large molecules around. That is literally like cell Wi-Fi. No cholesterol means no signal. The body values cholesterol so much that most cells can make it. The liver and intestinal cells are especially keen because they also manufacture the little delivery vehicles, those vans that carry the fats and the fat-soluble goodies through your blood. Part 3. Meet the couriers. the lipoproteins. So fat and water, they don't mix. We all know this, right? Your body solves that problem with something called lipoproteins. Little tiny amphibious vans or lorries that carry cargo through your bloodstream. They are called LDL and HDL, and they are not types of cholesterol. So that's the first thing, because we always talk about LDL cholesterol and HDL cholesterol, but those little LDL and HDL, they are just the vans, the little lorries, the delivery trucks. They are different vans and they carry the same cholesterol molecule. So LDL's job is delivery. It takes energy and building supplies from the liver out to your tissues. Whereas HDL's job is collection and return. Still a delivery van, still a little van, but this one's bringing stuff back. It gathers leftovers and brings them back to the liver for recycling. Calling LDL bad and HDL good is very catchy, but it's completely wrong. The important question is not whether the van exists. The question is whether the cargo and the van have been damaged by oxidation. And when the cargo is oxidized, things get really messy. And you learned all about oxidation in my last video, which was all about seed oils and what they do inside the body. So think of it like food going off in the van. That's what irritates our artery walls. Part 4, what actually damages arteries? Oxidation, not the existence of cholesterol. In case you need a recap, I just put a link at the top of the screen for that last video that I did. And what feeds oxidation? Ultra-processed diets, high in industrial seed oils, and constant blood sugar swings, and smoking, and chronic stress, and poor sleep, and anything that ramps up free radical production. Notice how having LDL particles didn't make it onto this list. The tiny amphibious vans aren't the problem, the rotten cargo is. Part 5, why vegetable oils became the teacher's pet. So once the world decided cholesterol was the enemy, any food that lowered blood cholesterol won a gold star. Vegetable oils, they lower cholesterol, so they were branded heart healthy. And that sounds really great until you realise that lowering a number is not the same as improving a life. If you lower a number by damaging the system, you've polished the thermometer while the house burns down. Here's the really uncomfortable bit. A major diet trial designed to prove the cholesterol theory actually did the opposite. When saturated fats were swapped for high polyunsaturated vegetable oils, cholesterol numbers fell, but deaths didn't. In some analysis, the people whose cholesterol fell the most did the worst, not the headline you saw on breakfast TV. Part 6. Pardon. But hang on, don't high cholesterol people have more heart attacks? If the cholesterol theory were neat and tidy, you'd expect people admitted with heart attacks to have sky-high LDL right across the board. Large hospital data sets do not show that. Plenty have normal or even low LDL. When the results don't fit the theory, the answer should be to re-examine the theory, not keep moving the goalposts and just declaring ever lower targets as the only safe number. By the way, over decades, the average cholesterol in the population has drifted down, funnily enough, while metabolic disease has gone up. That should at least make us curious, right? Part 7, low cholesterol and health risks. So you don't win a prize for the lowest number. Across different studies, very low cholesterol shows links with a grab bag of problems. Higher overall mortality in some cohorts, more infections like sepsis, cognitive issues, and in some trials, more cancers when aggressively lowering cholesterol with drugs. So correlation isn't causation, but if low equals fragile in multiple systems, then that's a signal to stop celebrating low for the sake of low. What might be risky? Remember cholesterol's day job? It builds cell membranes, it builds hormones, makes your hormones vitamin D and bile acids. It helps you respond to stress. If you hammer that system whilst flooding your diet with unstable oils that oxidize easily, you could reduce a lab value while increasing your biological stress. And unfortunately, that, my friend, is not health. And it doesn't even slightly sound like a good idea. Part 8, why the hierarchy of evidence sometimes misleads. So you've probably seen that pyramid graphic where meta-analyses sit at the top like the crown jewels. Useful tool. Also, very dangerous. A meta-analysis is a summary of summaries. Change the inclusion criteria and you can make summer wetter than winter or night look the same as day. Meanwhile, the basic lab and mechanistic work that explains how the body actually functions gets shoved to the bottom. Ignore that and you forget why cholesterol exists in the first place. Animal studies also add context. It's famously difficult to give animals heart attacks with normal animal fats, unless you do wild things like genetic engineering plus additional injury, but feed them oxidized oils and oxidized cholesterol, and you start to see plaque formation. Translation for your kitchen: freshly cooked real food is not your enemy. Reheated fryer oil in a fast food vat that's been bubbling very hot for days, that is. Part 9, what you can do this week without losing your marbles. Let's get practical. Here is how you reduce oxidation, support those healthy lipids and stop fearing your own biology. So number 1, ditch the fragile, industrially produced, chemically altered seed oils. Remove them at home. That means sunflower, safflower, soybean, canola, rapeseed in the UK, corn, cottonseed, grapeseed and rice bran. Here. Ready? Instead, use butter and ghee and olive oil and beef tallow and coconut oil or avocado oil for heating. Olive oil is great for dressings at low to medium heat, and for high heat, use your ghee, your tallow, your lard, which comes from pork. Tallow comes from beef. So if you eat actual foods that lived a real life, this is number 2, and base your meals on quality protein, that's beef, lamb, venison, eggs, fish, chicken, pork. You don't need me to name all the meats and fish, but if you add in low oxalate vegetables that you can tolerate, and then you cook them in stable fats, your cells get the raw materials that they need, including cholesterol. Number 3, protect your cargo from oxidation. Sleep like it matters, walk daily, train your muscles, keep blood sugar swings sensible by prioritizing protein and those fiber-rich veg, and get morning light in your eyes. Manage stress without having a biscuit in your hand, so avoid snacks, stop eating between meals. Number 4, become fryer aware. If a menu reads crispy, crunchy, battered, fried, assume a seed oil bath. Choose grilled, roasted or baked wherever you can. Ask if they have butter or olive oil in the kitchen, and if they say no, then they're either lying or they have a bigger problem. Move restaurants. And number 5, if your cholesterol rises on a better diet, don't panic. Just ask better questions. How do you feel? How are your triglycerides and your HDL? What is your fasting insulin? What does your remnant cholesterol look like? What about ApoB if you're doing deeper testing? Often you're going to see the triglycerides drop, HDL rise, and insulin improve when you cut the seed oils and the sugar and then you start eating more protein. And the overall picture matters for your health far more than just that one number. You can even insist that your doctor does more or better testing. Number 6, special case, familial hypercholesterolemia. It's a difficult one to get the tongue around. If you have genuine FH, there we go, we use the shorter version, work with a clinician who understands nutrition, insulin resistance, and lipid subfractions. The goal is not fear. The goal is to reduce oxidative stress and inflammation whilst you manage risk intelligently. That may include medication for some. It should always include food quality, muscle, sleep, and reducing stress. Number 7, do not worship targets for their own sake. Chasing the lowest LDL without context is like starving your builders to keep the bricks budget low. You're going to save money on bricks and then your house is going to fall down anyway. Part 10. Quick science snack for your inner nerd. So dietary cholesterol from eggs and shellfish has little impact on blood cholesterol for most people because your liver adjusts its own production. The body likes homeostasis or balance, and it's always questing for this wonderful state. And LDL is your delivery van. HDL is your recycling van, still a van, one does one job, one does another. Oxidation is the arsonist. Vegetable oils lower cholesterol, partly because they change how fats and cholesterol are handled. Lower number, not necessarily lower risk. Many of the scary animal results come from oxidized oils or extreme conditions, awful, painful animal experimentation that certainly do not reflect a normal human diet based on eating real foods. So, part 11, some common questions that I get. Question: my LDL went up when I stopped eating seed oils and I ate instead more eggs and steak. Am I in danger? Answer: look at the whole panel. Triglycerides, they likely dropped. HDL often rose. Fasting insulin improved, and you feel better. That pattern says that your couriers are busy delivering building materials, not that your arteries are a motorway pile-up. Question: should I never touch vegetable oil again? Answer: treat it like a frenemy. You will bump into it at restaurants, control what you can at home, and choose smarter when you're out. And it's fine to eat, as I said, things like olive oil, avocado oil, macadamia nut oil, linseed oil. Look for cold pressed and look for it being stored in a dark glass bottle, and you should be safe. Question: what about statins? That old question. Here, Mikey, ready? They can lower LDL. The question is whether that change solves the actual problem in your body. For some high-risk cases, apparently they can be helpful. For many, the bigger wins come from removing the oxidizing pressure. Food quality, muscle, sleep, sunlight, and stress control. Have a grown-up chat with your doctor about your absolute risk, not just a target. Question: isn't plaque full of cholesterol, so doesn't that prove that cholesterol is the baddie? Answer: crime scenes are filled with police officers and detectives. That doesn't mean the police and the sleuths caused the crime. Cholesterol shows up where repair is needed. The trigger for that is damage, and that's the only reason that the cholesterol is there. The body uses it as a band-aid. Part 12, the cultural madness, briefly. So we've spent decades lowering these lab numbers while ignoring the smoke from the kitchen. We moved the targets lower and lower and called that progress. Meanwhile, metabolic disease, metabolic illnesses have climbed. If results don't match the promise, it's time to question the promise. That's not heresy, that's science. Ready? Good surf today. Look at those waves. Mikey's very interested in the sea, but not actually to go in it, just to look at it. Part 13, your 7-day cholesterol confidence plan. So day 1, clear the oils. Bin the sunflower, safflower, soybean, corn, cottonseed, grapeseed, rice bran. Get rid of those altogether. Never let them darken your door ever again. Replace them instead with, as I said, butter, ghee, extra virgin olive oil, tallow, lard, avocado oil, coconut oil. Day 2, protein anchor. Build lunch around 40 to 60 grams of protein. Example, a ribeye with a big salad, olive oil and salt. Day 3, breakfast upgrade. Eggs with mushrooms and asparagus in butter, or Greek yogurt with clean whey stirred in if dairy suits you and you don't feel like a big breakfast. Day 4, movement. 30 to 45 minutes easy walking, plus 3 sets each of push-ups, pull-ups, and legs. Squats are great if you can manage them, but start with whatever you can manage. Day 5, restaurant strategy. Important one this. Choose grilled or roasted and swap the sides for veg or salad. Ask for butter or olive oil. Day 6, sleep as therapy. 7.5 to 9 hours. Dark, cool room, phone off. Don't let the phone go in the bedroom. And day 7, reflect and record. How is your energy, your appetite, your cravings, your skin, your digestion, your mood? Numbers do matter, but how you feel is valuable data as well. Part 14, where Dr. Shanahan's work fits in. Massive credit to the amazing Dr. Catherine Shanahan for connecting the dots between seed oils and oxidation and the cholesterol story. Her central message matches what I see with my clients. Lowering a number isn't the same as creating health. Your body needs cholesterol. Protect it from oxidation. Feed the system real food. Well, that is the sane path. Part 15. Recap that you can tell your mate at the pub. So cholesterol, first off, cholesterol is a nutrient. Your cells love it. LDL and HDL are delivery vans, not villains, and they're not heroes. Oxidation is the problem child. Vegetable oils can lower your numbers while raising your risk. And chasing the lowest cholesterol is not a health strategy. Reducing damage is. If this helped, and I hope it did, I do have more deep dives into cholesterol on this channel. There's some videos I made a few months ago about cholesterol and lipoproteins and seed oils, where I pull up studies and go more slowly. So watch those next so this really sticks. And if you want a simple weekly plan that respects your biology, consider joining my program, Sweet Enough, with one-to-one coaching with me. I have a few spaces left for September 25, which is when I'm recording this. Or my maximum fat loss plan if you're confident of going it alone. We build muscle, we protect hormones, we change habits, we reclaim health, and we stop pretending that our bodies are just like clogged sinks. Questions, drop them below, keep them specific, and I do answer as many of them as I can, and if you want personalised help, that's what my programs are for. Right, nearly lunchtime. Thank you so much for watching. Please do remember to hit like and subscribe. Nourish, don't punish, and from beautiful Biarritz in the hazy sunshine, cheerio for now. If you enjoyed this video, you might like to watch one of these two next. So from Mikey and me at the beach, thanks for watching. Bye for now.